Bricks Minifigs announced that its dispute with Bryan Mansell has been settled, and their public statement says the Mansells have been compensated. There's just one problem. Bryan Mansell went on BJC Live Thursday and said he hasn't received settlement money yet. He hasn't gotten his remaining Legos back yet, and apparently the lawsuit hasn't been dismissed either. Now, before anybody says Bricks and Minifigs violated the settlement, that's not what Bryan said. They still have time. So why does the announcement make this sound like it's already finished?
Oh, that was my
And
next
we still
question.
haven't-
Did they pay you your money?
Yeah, we have not seen the deposit yet.
Okay, so let's look at what Bricks and Minifigs actually said. So here we have BAM's public statement from the 19th of August that says that the Mansell families have been compensated. Although the clip we just showed, Bryan says he's not seen the settlement deposit yet. So Bryan also goes on to say that they still have time, that under this agreement, they're supposed to deposit it within a certain amount of time. So the wording of the agreement, or of the press release, says have been compensated, but the actual story going on sounds a little bit different than that, because it sounds more like it should have said will be compensated, because Bryan Mansell has not received the money yet. So was this announcement made prematurely, or was this announcement just worded wrong? Did BAM want to go ahead and get this announcement out there before they had everything positioned so that they could try and take some of this pressure off? Or did they just make a mistake in the wording of their press release? Okay, now let's talk about the lawsuit. So the host of BJC Live says that she checked Pacer and could not find the dismissal for this case. So then Bryan in the interview also suggests that the lawsuit may not be dropped yet because there are settlement obligations. So the lawsuit may not be able to be dropped until they've received the money, until they've received the Lego back, and then it can be dropped as completed. So federal court works a lot different than other courts, having had experience in federal court myself. It does not move at a fast pace, and it's not in a hurry to get something done. But the money isn't actually the part that surprised me the most. Remember what started this entire mess in the first place? The Lego.
The whole point was we want our Lego back and the money. So, we're finally to that point, hopefully.
Have you gotten any of your Legos back?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's part of the settlement. They will be returning what's left of the collection that they have in their possession.
Part of that settlement is returning the Lego that is in Bricks and Minifigs' possession. And according to Bryan, as of Thursday, August 19th, or August 20th, that does not sound like it has happened yet. At the time of that interview, the money has not arrived, the Lego has not arrived, and the case has not been dismissed. So what are they doing? They created this fancy press release announcement that sounded nice and polished, yet a lot of the things they said in there haven't happened yet. They still have time to accomplish them as part of the settlement agreement. I'm not saying that they're not going to follow through with the settlement. What I am saying is that their press release is not accurate to what has already happened. Their wording in the press release is past tense, saying that they have already done this stuff. Whereas Bryan Mansell says, I have not received this stuff yet. So throughout that entire interview that Bryan Mansell gave with BJC Live, she gave him ample opportunity to throw Bricks and Minifigs under the bus, to criticize them and to, you know, continue on what's happened. And Bryan Mansell played it cool, and he did not attack Bricks and Minifigs at all. In fact, he was very measured and said that he hopes and expects Bricks and Minifigs to follow through with their settlement agreement as discussed and as agreed upon. And I think that shows a lot of character in Bryan Mansell. Bryan Mansell was asked whether he thought this felt like a victory or not, and essentially he said that it didn't seem so much as a victory because this should have happened a long time ago. It's not, you know, something that should have taken this long to be resolved, but he, you know, does feel it as a slight victory. For me, I agree with Bryan that it shouldn't have taken this long, but I also see it as a victory that he was able to find the right people and put the right people in place so that the justice system did not overpower the little man. Because in the beginning, those that were affiliated with Bricks and Minifigs said, you know, the whole time they wanted them to sue them for it because it's going to cost more in legal fees for the lawsuit than the Legos are worth. And oftentimes that is the case in lawsuits.
Why didn't you use your settlement leverage to get Ben out of the lawsuit? Well, thank you for the $5 Canadian. I don't think that's how that works. Right?
Yeah,
Like, that's not, like, each person
wish
has
I
to use
could
their
do
own
that.
leverage for their own leverage. Like, you
Yeah.
can't. Like,
I wish I could do that. I will speak to that a little bit. Like I said,
okay.
our legal teams were always in communication with each other, and no decisions were made without everyone being on board. So I would just say stay tuned.
I don't know what that means, and I'm not going to pretend that I do, but considering everything going on in these lawsuits right now, I'm definitely staying tuned. Hopefully, Bricks and Minifigs completes and does everything that they say they're going to in that settlement agreement. That would solve a big majority of this case. It would you know, help Bryan Mansell out, because that's the whole thing he wanted, was to get, number one, the money that he's owed, and number two, the remaining Lego inventory back. And then hopefully Bricks and Minifigs goes through with the dismissal like they said as well. So the settlement's very important to the Mansell family, and I think as well to Reckless Ben, because this is what he was fighting for the whole time. And this story is not over. It's continuing. There's still lawsuits out there. As part of the settlement agreement, Mr. Mansell agreed to sign over his rights to go after the previous owner of that Kaiser Salem store. So Bricks and Minifigs may go after the Law family even harder with those rights now. So keep following for future developments in the Bricks and Minifigs case.